The Flex Prime is a brand new unit from Headrush, and it delivers a lot of upgrades from the previous iteration with the MX5. Features like having Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a desktop editor, and their own revolver or their clone technology, which lets you capture different amps. So whether you are brand new to this unit or you're really excited to buy one, in this video, I will cover everything you need to know to get started. From how to navigate the unit, from how to download my free worship patch, as well as how to create your own and edit your own presets. And if you like this video and want to support the channel, be sure to purchase your unit through Zounds. It gives me a small kickback and it helps support those that support this channel. Enough talking, let's get started. So with that said, we've got our main volume right up top here, and of course that's just going to control our main output. From there, we've got our encoder knob, which this is going to allow us to browse or click into different amps or effects. I can make adjustments from here, or one benefit to the Flex Prime is you're gonna have a really awesome touchscreen as well. So if I want to go in and make any adjustments, I can do so just by tapping and clicking the screen. And then over here on the right, we've got our expression pedal, which can double as a volume, expression, or a wah. In this case, if you do push down hard enough with your toe, then that does allow you to have two different options per individual preset. Below that here, we've got our LED strip, which is just simply going to show us which pedals are engaged. And then of course, we've got our foot switches, which can be used to turn on our different effects on and off, adjust our scenes, etc. Plus, if we hold down foot switch number 1, this is going to allow us to switch between our different stomp or rig modes. If we hold down number 2, we've got our looper. In this case, we see the exit button, we just gotta hold down tuner. And then of course, number 3 gives us our tuner. Now on top of the unit, this is where we can access our power. You've got a USB for recording, and then the only call out really is for your output. If you are playing live, because these are unbalanced outputs, you will need a DI to go to your front of house. You have your guitar, expression, effects loop, etc. All in all, the Headrush Flex Prime is a really intuitive unit, and having this touchscreen is gonna make navigating between your different presets a breeze. Starting from the top to the bottom, we are going to have our menu, which is this little brick icon in the top left. Then we've got our CPU indicator, which is going to tell us how much of our processing power we are using. We've got the name of our preset at the top. The little plus allows us to go in and create a new preset from scratch. And then we're going to have our foot switch icon, which is going to allow us to go in and adjust our different scenes. This is also where we've got the ability to choose if we want it to be a latch or a momentary switch for our different effects. And lastly, in the top right corner, we're going to have that little floppy disk icon that is going to allow us to save this new rig. I don't know about you, but I was old enough to grow up in the era of floppy disks. So if you were as well, let me know down in the comments. Past that, we're going to have a pretty straightforward signal chain, which is going to be showed clearly from left to right. We do have the ability to adjust what kind of signal chain we have by hitting this signal chain icon on the right. And then from there, we've got our input and our output. These are things that you can actually click into. So if it's something where you want to go in and add a noise gate during the input of your signal chain or adjust your input gain, this is where you can do that. And like I mentioned earlier, if you want to use the encoder knob, this is going to allow us to go in and we can clearly see where this is highlighting our different blocks. So if I want to go in and make an adjustment to my compressor, just simply click into here. And then this is where I can make my individual adjustments to that effect. Personally, I find that the encoder knob is going to be really nice for fine-tune adjustments within the effects. And I personally find that using the encoder knob for those fine adjustments is going to be great. If you want to make bigger kind of sweeping adjustments, that's where your finger is going to be nice. Now, just to quickly show you the adjustments that we can make to our foot switches down here at the bottom, this is going to be a Michael Westbrook preset that you can download from the Headrush Cloud. In this case, he's got it set up in such a way where when I click these different foot switches, it's actually adjusting an individual effect block. The Tonecraft one that I've got set up is set for scenes. So in this case, it can go in and turn on or off multiple effects or amp blocks all at once. Personally, I find this much more useful, especially in a live situation. In this case, we can see that we can go from a clean sound to a swell or a gritty sound, all just by clicking one foot switch. Now, this is the part of video where we can go in and adjust this preset, or you can create your own if you would like as well. If you do have the factory unit, I'd honestly recommend play with some of the factory presets because they sound pretty good. And then I'll also show you in a little bit a feature where you can go into the Headrush cloud and download different presets or sample different presets from other artists. It's super cool, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. Now, in this case, I'm just going to hit the little plus icon up at the top, and then that way I can go in and create a new preset from scratch. Now, to get started, all you've got to do is just click wherever you want, and then we can go in and we can see our different model selector. Up at the top, we've got our amp or cabinets or IRs, and then our clones. For the amp section, what you'll notice with the new generation of the Headrush products is that you're gonna have the Headrush option, which is gonna be your typical modeler, where it's going to emulate the way that it thinks an amp will sound. And this is gonna be like a typical Vox amp where you've got that top boost. If I go back, once again, I can just click, I can go in, I can add my cabinet. Once again, you'll see a few different options here for your cabinet. In this case, we can use IRs, or we can go in and use one of the cabinets already prescribed from Headrush. One other really cool feature is if we go back and we look at our cabinet here, let's say I want to use an IR. If I don't have IRs here, now Headrush does give you some of your own, but if you hit the load IR option, you're going to see some different options here from Headrush Cloud. And this little Dropbox integration here. This is where you can go in and link to your Dropbox account. And if you've downloaded IRs from your computer, just upload them into Dropbox and they'll show up right here, which is honestly a pretty cool quality of life item to have. This also works with their looper or for downloading tracks as well. Past that, if I want to go in and make an adjustment or add a different effect, this is super easy. We just simply click on the option that we want, and we can clearly see over on the right the different options that we have. In this case, for overdrives, the greener is going to be similar to like a TS-808 style overdrive. I can hit clean boost here, and we can clearly see where that auto assigns, and I can turn that on and off. If I want to make adjustments to where that is mapped, just go to that foot switch icon in the top right. Now, quite frankly, I could go a ton more detail into this specific section, especially with the introduction of scenes. But if you want more detail, let me know in the comments, ask your questions. I would love to help you out. Now, this next section is typically where I see people skip, and honestly, you do not want to do that. If we go into our menu, this is where we've got a ton of additional features with the Flex Prime. In this case, where I actually think we need to start is by going into our global settings. Now, from here, you do have the ability to adjust some things in terms of your brightness or the colors within your Flex Prime. But what I'm most specifically interested in showing you is the Wi-Fi capabilities. Now, in this case, you can go in and connect to your local Wi-Fi network, and this is what's going to unlock the ability for us to update our firmware or go in and connect to the web browser or the web editor. As we can see here, there's a hyperlink where it says go to headrushflexprime.local within your web browser. You can actually use the web editor on a desktop or an iPhone or really any phone or tablet. In this case, we've got a pretty nice touch screen here. So my recommendation would be typically only use it if you've got a bigger screen to work from. Of course, there's quite a bit more that we can do within this specific menu. A couple other quick callouts would be our Bluetooth menu. This is what's going to allow us to go in and connect to our phone. So if we want to use the Bluetooth capabilities and use the practice tool, this makes it quick and easy to do. The audio function is where you're going to be able to go in and control if you want to use something like the effects loop and a whole bunch more. But for now, we'll hit the little block in the corner to go back to our main menu. Now, if we want to get back to our rig, we just simply click My Rig, and that takes us right back where we were at. The browse option allows us to go in and see different things that are saved on this unit, such as impulse responses, loops, reverbs, etc. The setlist tool allows us to go in and see different set lists that we've saved. So if you play in a live environment, if you play on a worship team and you want to save the 5-10 songs that you're playing all in a row, you can easily do that using the setlist tool. The practice tool is going to allow you to go in and practice along to a song. It's kind of nice. You can go in and you can adjust how quick or fast the song is. I probably would never personally use this, but for somebody starting out, they may find this super valuable. The metronome and the looper, again, additional options. I do feel like the Headrush units give you a ton of quality of life items, things that are nice to have. And for somebody that wants those things, they're probably super nice. Again, probably not something I would ever use. Now, the thing that I am really excited about and I think you need to know about is the Headrush Cloud. And this is super awesome because you've got the ability to go in and see different rigs that people have uploaded. So, like this guy, Zach Bropst, I don't know who he is, but I like his picture. So when we go in and we click on the profile from Zach Bropst, we can see the worship guitar preset right here. It looks like it's got 250 downloads, 14 devil horn things, whatever these are called, rock on. And one thing that's super cool about the Headrush Cloud is, let's say I don't want to download this quite yet. I just want to know what it sounds like. Well, I can click that little play icon, and then as I start to play, you're going to know exactly how this preset sounds. If I like it, go ahead and download it. In this case, we can go through and we can see all of these different options. We can upload our own content, or we can browse rigs from other players. Super cool, really awesome. I love how easy this is to use and all available within this tiny unit. And side note, if you're finding this video helpful, be sure to subscribe. It lets me know what kind of content people enjoy, what they find helpful, and then that way I can make more videos like this for the future for you all. As we move back towards our main menu, this is where we can go in and we can see if there's any new firmware updates that need to be installed for our device. The USB transfer is typically something you only have to do if you plug your unit into a computer. The lock screen just does exactly that. It allows us to lock our screen. So if you're playing at a bar and some guy's drunk and they're not gonna touch your screen and ruin all the settings that you have. One thing that is cool as well, I was actually talking to Duncan, who is helping the launch of the Flex Prime, and you can actually change the picture that's located right here on this lock screen. So in this case, if we go in and we plugged our Flex Prime in through USB, when you plug it in, you'll see a JPEG that's labeled something like lock screen. If you swap out that image, rename it the same thing, when you turn your Flex Prime back on, you'll see that lock screen adjust. Not tried it yet, but theoretically it's something you can do. And the very last thing I want to show you is the global EQ. And in this case, this is where we can go in and add an EQ across all of our different presets. So if you want to add a high or a low cut, you can easily do that here. Simply turn the EQ on, find where you want to go, and then make your adjustments. And that is it. You are now a pro of the Headrush Flex Prime. So if you've got other questions, if you want to hear more tones from this video, check out my initial review of the Flex Prime. I will see you guys next time.